Morning. And here we are, back at it. 1 week post Ultra X, and the process starts again today. So let's get up to the ridgeline. As today is only a bit of time on feet walking, albeit sort of power hiking and walking. We'll get up the ridgeline, and I think we'll have a chat about the good bits of the Ultra X, the bad bits, the bits the jury's still out on, my training going forward, and what's coming up next. Right, let's get up the ridgeline. Can't beat it. I'm so spoiled living here. This is like 2.3 kilometers from my doorstep. It is absolutely stunning at this time of year. It's even better in the winter as well, to be fair. Tumbalam in the distance. Be running up there tomorrow. Absolutely out of this world. I'm regretting wearing a long sleeve top though. I thought it was going to be cooler than this according to the weather forecast. I got that wrong. A t-shirt would have been fine. Anyway, get up there to the ridgeline, have a sit down and a chat. Right then, let's start with training. Did I do enough training for the Ultra X? Yes and no. So time on feet. So the race took me 10 hours 38 minutes, so I was on my feet for that time. 50k, 2,300 odd meters of elevation gain and loss. Did I do enough training? Time on feet wise, yes I did. I had enough time on feet. I think when the final numbers came out that I was keeping a track of, my average weekly sort of mileage was 45 kilometers over the 25-week period. That appeared to be enough for time on feet. Elevation training, yeah, I didn't have a problem with the elevation at all, but that might stem from I enjoy mountain walking anyway. So I was doing at least 2 times on the treadmill a week towards the end, not all the way through actually. Towards the end I was doing 750 meters twice a week on the treadmill, elevation gain. And then up until the weather got really hot in Abu Dhabi, I was doing Birdcage Hill in the desert, up and down, up and down, up and down. So yeah, elevation gain that I did, I think it could have been more. I think it should have been more, not could have been. But I think what I did was enough to get me through. Running wise, my easy runs were enough, the volume was enough, the intensity was enough. My long runs seemed to be enough. Now I only did a long run up to 31k. I was a bit concerned at that it wasn't a long enough long run. But it seemed to be okay. I seemed to have done enough with that 45 kilometers a week to get me through. So training wise, I think I did enough. I think it could have been better. I think I should have improved it, but I think it's okay. I think I did enough to get through. I will be improving it going forward, but we'll come on to that in a bit. Yeah, so training wise, it was enough, but I think personally I should have done more. I should have done better, I should say, not more, better. Right, what's next? Pre-race fueling and carb loading. So I had concerns during the race, or before the race, that I don't take solids a great deal during races because of internal issues. I can't eat a lot of volume of solids in one go. Now I know that shouldn't be an issue because you only pick at these races anyway. 8 stations you're picking. But the other problem is I can't run and eat. I can't do solids when I'm running. It just doesn't work for me. So up until this race, I've relied completely on fluids. So I use Tailwind for my carbs and this electrolyte in it, of course. And I use gels. And then I do carry electrolyte as well, separately. But that's pretty much it. And I was concerned that doing a 50k it wasn't going to be enough. That I would get halfway through and yeah, it was not going to work. But anyway, I digress. It did work, as it turns out. I did have some melon at a couple of the checkpoints, and I think I grabbed a handful of crisps at one of them, but that was about it. I went through on, I'm quite strict on 500ml with tailwind in it every hour, so that's 50 grams of carbs. And I was doing a gel every 30 minutes, which would have been another 46 grams of carbs an hour, so that'd be 96 grams of carbs an hour. I did cut the gel, I did that towards the start, but I started to cut the gels down a bit, and I think every 45 minutes is enough. I'm still up around the 80 grams of carbs an hour, so I think that was enough. I think I've got my race fueling sorted. I know now that I can run a 50k race and not worry about solids, which was a concern. Pre-race, I was pretty strict. I started 4 days out with increasing my carbs per day and my hydration. So fourth day, third day out, I was still pretty much on the same sort of diet as the family. And then as I got to the second and first day out, I went to, I think, about 55-60% carbs. And I was up to 4 litres of fluids a day, half of which had electrolyte in it. So yeah, but it worked. I was pre-fueled and pre-electrolyted up going into the race, and that was definitely beneficial to me, I think, very much so. Yeah, so fueling, I got the fueling right, and I will use exactly the same going forward. If it's not broken, don't fix it, as they say. So that worked for me. What's next? Let's walk on a bit while I have a rethink and check my cheat sheet. So the event itself, was I prepared for the elevation gain? Was I prepared for the trails to what I was expecting? Yes and no. First lesson learned: don't rely on Garmin Pro Pace, Pacing Pro, whatever it's called. I was looking at that for timing, and I was 2 hours out. Because when you think about it, all the Garmin sees from the course is elevation gain, elevation loss, the flat bits, and the distance. It hasn't got a clue what's under your feet, and that was the downfall. That's the bit I didn't allow for. So whereas I was looking at let's just say a faster time than I got, it was purely because I relied on Garmin, and it didn't have a clue what was under my feet. Some of the tracks going uphill, second climb, going up the second climb, it was really brutal. It was more of a scramble in places because of the fantastic weather they've been having. All of these ferns, you can see them here, were massively overgrown on a lot of the tracks, so you couldn't see your feet, you couldn't see where you were stepping. Yeah, it is what it is, you know. So that, I suspect, helped with the slowing down part. You got to the top of the second climb, and then it's head into the wind and in the clouds, so where I expected to run there, I slowed. That said, my first start of the first checkpoint, I did 30 minutes faster than I was expecting to, but it was a pretty easy run, to be honest. Okay, it was very, very runnable. It was really nice, actually. And I came in 30 minutes faster than I bargained for. I then lost that 30 minutes and an extra 15 between there and checkpoint 2. But it is what it is. So I won't rely on Garmin Pacing Pro in future. I will use it as a guide for my finish times, but that's about it. I think it would be helpful if I could recce the routes in advance, but living abroad, that's not going to happen. It's like it's not enough time before a race to go and recce 50k when you only arrive in the country a week before and you're trying to taper. So that's not going to happen anyway, so we'll just have to wing that bit. Yeah, but you know what, 10:38, I was happy with that. That was good enough for my liking for my first one. I felt pretty strong at the end of it, to be fair. They did reroute the end of the route slightly due to, again, overgrown bracken, as they refer to it, ferns. But yeah, so it was good. It was good. I really, really enjoyed the race. The organisers themselves, Ultra X, absolutely fantastic. I couldn't fault them. So professional. The event was well organised. The routes were brilliant. Everything about it. It's just everything about it was perfect in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. What I like about them as well is, living abroad, they're international. They run races all over the world. So, and of course, they run the one in Jordan, and that's certainly on my radar at present because it's not far from Abu Dhabi. So I might look at doing that multi-day event they run in Jordan at some stage. So yes, the organisers, Ultra X, big thumbs up. Absolutely fantastic. They were out of this world. Yeah, definitely will be using them again. I'm already looking at 2027. I would like to do I think they call it the Grand Slam, where you do England, Wales, Scotland. You do all three at the same distance, and then they give you an extra medal or whatever. Unfortunately, next year I would be around for the Scotland one. I'd be around for the England one, but I don't think I'm going to be in country for the Welsh one, which would be a real shame because, you know what, I really like that idea. I really do. But there it is. It is what it is. Right. Just got to turn the corner up here. Start to head back down towards the village. Because I've come a bit further than I bargained for. Why waste this beautiful countryside? Might as well make the most of it. I'm going back next week. So I'm going to turn this corner and then we'll talk about the going forward plans and training and how we take it forward again. Right. Back down off the ridgeline. I've just found, I didn't even know it existed, an original man-made pond. It would have been a pond for the iron industry and the coal mining around here. It looks identical to one that's further up the valley at Blenavon, which they call Mile End Pond. This looks identical, only on a smaller scale. Anyway, I digress again. So, going forward, training going forward. So for the month of August, it's a bit of a messed up month. I'm still in the UK at the moment. I'm travelling back next week. The following week, I'm going to have cataract surgery on my right eye. I had my left one done 6 or 7 months ago. I'm going to have the right one done now, when I get back. Now I know that when that happens, as agreed last time with the surgeon, there's no running for a week after it, and no weight training for 2 weeks after it. So I decided for August, I'm treating it as a maintenance month. So proper training won't start until September. 31st of August, in fact, is the Monday, and that's when we'll start training again for the next events. I've pretty much got a training plan in place, sort of based on the last one, but also based on what I think I need to improve. Oh, it's Sunday. Put the sun, put it on that side. What I need to improve. Elevation gain. So there'll be more elevation gain involved. That's the first one. And at the same time of doing that, just turning the volume down. So at the same time as doing elevation gain, I think my time on feet walking on the treadmill, which is where I was getting most of my elevation gain, I think it was a bit, to be honest, I wasn't pushing myself. I was using a pace of because it was walking, I was using a pace of about 13 minutes a kilometre. I'm going to start to bring that pace up a bit now. Start to bring that down. I may aim for about 11.5 minutes a kilometre. I just think I need to push myself a bit more on that while I'm doing elevation gain. If it's only walking, I need to push up a bit, get the heart rate going a bit more. That'll help everything else. So that will be changing slightly. Other than that, it'll still be a Monday and a Sunday. That seemed to work. Why change it? Tuesdays, so I'm going to swap around. So previously, Tuesday was my easy run, Thursday was my quality run day. I'm now going to swap those around. I'm going to do quality run on a Tuesday, followed by full lower body only strength training on a Wednesday, on a Wednesday. And then on a Thursday I'll do my easy run. Friday will be recovery day, and then Saturday will be long run day. Whenever possible, it will involve elevation gain. So basically, it'll be birdcage hill as often as possible. Sunday then, like I said, back to time on feet walking, but also on a Sunday, I'm going to do a full body workout as well. So lower body, upper body and core. So I'm increasing the strength training to twice a week. And the reason for that is I still think I'm lacking downhill running. During the recent ultra, I got to 30k in and I was starting to get cramp in my quads and my calves, but only after I'd been downhill running. I do also think that might have had another influence, the fact that I don't think I was taking enough electrolyte in the tailwind alone. When I've looked back at how much electrolyte I was taking, I don't think I was anywhere near enough, to be honest. I probably miscalculated myself. So I will in future be taking a lot more electrolyte as well to help on that, or to eliminate it if nothing else. But I know I need to do a lot of eccentric work for the downhill running side of things. So that's now going to be quite a big part of the strength training. Not to sort of blow out on the downhills. I didn't blow out on them. It was after I got to the bottom. Basically. It was, yeah, that's when it started to kick in. Right, I'm just going to step to the side here because there's two cows coming. One of them with very big horns. Come on, cows. Give this one a wide berth, I think. Hello, cow. It's that time of day, is it? That's the third one I've passed. Never mind. All good to see. Sorry. Ah, yes. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm still need to work on my quads and my calves for the downhill side of things. But other than that, that's the training. Which then brings us to the final bit. What's the next event? Well, I've got the Ultra Trail Dubai in November, end of November. It's 28th I think it is. Now, I don't have a problem with doing that event, apart from one thing. It took me 3 days to recover this time. That event is on a Saturday. On the Monday, that's 2 days, I've actually got to get on an airplane and fly from Abu Dhabi to Istanbul. So I do have concerns, because the second day into recovery this time, I was still struggling a bit with transitioning from sitting to standing. It's not a problem. Once I was up and running, it was fine. So I'm still, the jury's out on that one of whether I'm going to do it or not. Also, the other reason, and I won't be able to give an answer on this until next weekend. The other one is, of course, is 2 weeks later, not even 2 weeks, I think it's 13 days later, no, it might be 2 weeks exactly, I've got the Celtic Trails Marathon in Abu Dhabi. So, admittedly, the Ultra Trail Dubai has a similar elevation gain to, I'm just going to watch my feet in here, has a similar elevation gain to the Ultra X did. It's about 2,300, whereas the Celtic Trails is only about 1,200. So should I be doing one 2 weeks later? Until I get the next weekend, I'm not going to know how I feel 2 weeks after the last Ultra. I'm keeping them both on the table for now. The Abu Dhabi one will definitely be done. The Celtic Trails will definitely be done. But we'll see about the Ultra Trail Dubai. I really like to do it. I love that part of the UAE over in Hatta. It's absolutely stunning in the mountains over there. Stunning in a completely different way to Wales, of course, because there's none of this greenery. But the views are spectacular. So that's the first two events. That takes us to the end of this year. But as I posted a while back on a TikTok, you got to keep look further afield than just the next race. So I'm looking into 2027 now as well. And of course I need to gear them around my leaves. So 2027 is when I want to do a 50 miler, 80k. So I want to move up from 50k to 80k. That's my target in 2027. That said, I don't know, and I might get abuse for this. If you're doing 80k, you might as well be doing 100k. I'm already getting abuse off my mother for it. She says I'm too old. Anyway, so I'm already looking at various events. We're likely to be home in April, May. So the Ultra X Scotland is in May. I could do that one. And I think they do a 50 miler and a 50k. So it's a good option there. There's a couple of other ones mid-April, but I don't know if we'll be home mid-April. That's a problem. I am trying to keep them local, to be fair, just to make it easier on logistics. What else? Then, oh, right, yeah. And then all of a sudden on my feed yesterday, the Epona 100 popped up. Should I do 100k in April? That's the big question. Should I aim for 100k? By then, I potentially could have, 2 ultras and a trail marathon under my belt, plus the previous ones. So I suppose my physical fitness level would be somewhere around capable of just moving from that up. So should I do 100k or should I stick to my 80k plan? That's the big one, obviously. Then I can look further afield. We're home again then in September. So I'll be looking for a race then as well. And I'll finish the year next year with back to the loyalty for the Celtic Trails. And I'll do the Ultra at the end of 2027. Then I can say I've done all three. That I'll have done the half, the marathon and the Ultra there. So yeah, at the moment there's definitely the rest of this year there's potentially 2 more races. And then for next year I'm already looking at 3 races, I think, without counting races in Dubai, of course. UAE rather, not Dubai, UAE. So yeah, that's where we're going. You've got to plan ahead, as I say. Keep planning ahead. But the big question now is, I suppose, as I'll even this, am I aiming for an 80k or 100k in 2027? Let's see. The original plan was 80, to be fair. It was a 50 miler. Maybe I should stick to the original plan. Anyway, that's it. We'll start a new training series, I suppose, when I get back to Abu Dhabi, when it all kicks off again. Catch you soon.